In the late 1980s, the first cycling power meters were introduced. Almost 30 years later, they're practically ubiquitous in the world of cycling.
But what about the good old heart rate monitor? Does heart rate training still have a place, or are power meters now essential for success? And which do you use and when it comes to cycling?
To train smartly requires you to monitor the intensity of your workouts and your progress. And this is exactly what heart rate monitors and power meters can do for you. They offer real-time insights into how your body is responding.
So if they both kind of do the same thing, then which one is best for you? What are the pros and the cons? Well, to answer that, we need to first take a look at how they both work.
Chest strap heart rate monitors measure the faint electrical signals from your heart as it beats to display your heart rate, and they display this in beats per minute, or BPM. Typically, the electrodes are built into the fabric of the strap, and this is placed against your skin. These days, you also get optical heart rate monitors with the sensors built into wristwatches or wrist straps or even rings. These use the reflection of light off blood vessels to detect your heart rate. Now, in theory, they should give you the exact same result as that chest strap. And while they're more cheap and more convenient, the reality is they're less accurate and less reliable.
Whereas a power meter works in quite a different way. The power meter is actually a component of the bike itself with several strain gauges built within it that measure the force applied when cycling. And measuring that torque along with the cadence enables it to calculate and then display your total power output in watts. And these can be placed within the pedals, the cranks, the bottom bracket, the hub, and also within smart trainers. So heart rate monitors will tell us our body's response to the effort that we're putting through the pedals, whereas a power meter will give us our output. Both are measurements of our effort, just in different ways, and you can use either of those to test and then calculate your zones to train in. So which do you choose?
Well, heart rate monitors are incredibly cheap and simple. An optical heart rate monitor we're ready to use almost immediately, and a chest strap heart rate monitor only requires you to place the chest strap on and pair it to whichever device you're going to record from. And a chest strap heart rate monitor is only going to set you back less than 50 pounds, and they can be used for pretty much any sport. So you can use them for an entire triathlon, for example. Put them on before the swim and wear them for the swim, the bike, and the run. And because they're a true measure of your body's response, they can also be used as an indicator for things like fatigue, illness, or overtraining. Where heart rate monitors fall down is their lag. When riding in a very stochastic way or up a punchy climb, what you'll find is there's a 30 to 60 second delay between your change in effort level and the response from your heart rate, which can be quite annoying when you're riding 30 to 60 second intervals.
Well, this is the big trump card that power meters can play. They provide instantaneous feedback. In fact, some power meters will even be measuring your power output several times a second. And if you do put a little bit more pressure or power through those pedals, that will very quickly be displayed. They also provide an easy and objective measurement of your fitness progression. And some will measure the difference from leg to leg, which can be quite useful for showing up any potential imbalances. And then with smart trainers, you can automatically control the resistance you're getting, which will make sure that you hit the exact power meters specific to that session and get the most out of your training. And it all sounds pretty good, right? Well, there are a couple of drawbacks, mostly the cost in comparison to a heart rate monitor, and also just learning how to interpret and understand the data you're getting. But that with practice is fairly straightforward, or you can always use a coach to help guide you.
So if I was to sum this up briefly, I would say for someone targeting time trials or triathlons with a long, continuous effort, then heart rate would absolutely suffice. Instantaneous feedback isn't necessary, and you'll get more than enough information from your heart rate monitor.
Whereas someone targeting short, high-intensity efforts or entering an event that requires sudden changes of pace or bursts of increased power, then a power meter is going to be really beneficial, giving you that instant feedback on your effort changes.
That's the simple answer. You're not here for that though. In our opinion, if you're just starting out, then a heart rate monitor is absolutely the first port of call. In fact, I go so far as to say it's a rite of passage, part of the learning experience. Partly because it's cheaper and simple to use and simple to not misunderstand, but also because the heart rate monitor will teach you to work to zones, teach you what each effort level feels like in different zones, and how to monitor and analyze your progress.
And we'd recommend not ditching the heart rate monitor just because you start to use a power meter, as in fact the two can complement each other. If you do the majority of your training using heart rate data and power data, you'll start to notice a correlation between the two and what's normal for you. And then if there are any changes, whether positive or negative, you'll notice them and you'll know how to react. For example, if you know what your power should be and you notice your heart rate going higher than normal, that's probably a negative sign. Or if your heart rate's starting to drop, it could be a sign of improvement in fitness.
One thing is for sure, whichever method you use, make sure you do a fitness test before you do so you can use them to their full potential and as accurately as possible.
Yeah, and if you do want to know anything more about training zones or fitness tests for cycling, well, check out some of our recent videos where we cover just that.
Yes, so do you use power or heart rate, or do you use both? Let us know in the comment section down below, and don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to GTN so you don't miss any of our future videos. Thanks for watching.